Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Roughie's Football Show, sponsored by Arnold Clark. It is Monday. I'm Peter Martin. Thank you very much for joining us on the programme. Barry Ferguson has called on every pundit to up the ante as far as their fashion stakes. Roughie got the memo. Hugh McDonald certainly didn't, and Barry's here too. We've got lots to talk about, Scottish Cup in general. Okay, Scottish Cup over the weekend. We already know what the draw is. Here's just a quick look back over the results over the Saturday and the Sunday. Of course, Rangers 4-1 against Hamilton Accies. It was St Johnstone with a win at Somerset Park. Inverness managed to see off the team from the top flight, Livingston. St Mirren and Motherwell are going to have to do it all again. Hearts, Daniel Stendhal more than happy going into the next round. Aberdeen and Kilmarnock couldn't find a goal anywhere, and Hibs and Celtic all managed a triumph in very difficult weather conditions, to say the least. And you just wonder sometimes, Barry, footballers hate the wind. It alters the game completely.
Yeah, it's horrible to play in the conditions. Certainly over the weekend, a lot of the games got affected by that. And as I said, if you ask any footballer, that's one of the conditions they hate playing in. And also, I feel sorry for the fans because they want to go to games and try and be entertained. But sometimes it's impossible in that kind of weather. Yeah, well, even with the difficult conditions, Celtic just managed to get past Clyde in the end. I think Cham certainly caught the eye, Hugh.
Yeah, I think both Rangers and Celtic will be glad the way it played out. I mean, you don't have to look at performances too closely. Both of them scored 4 goals, avoided any upsets, avoided any tedious replays. I thought a few guys, it was important for Neil on Sunday. I think Elianusi coming back is a big one for him. But I've always rated in Cham. I mean, if a guy plays for France under 21s, he's not a duck egg, you know. And I think the big thing about Celtic will he go in the summer?
Yeah, if Celtic cruise through, Rangers certainly in the end managed to get through by 4-1. And again, it's not ideal conditions. Hamilton looked as if they were going to make a game of it, Barry, but I'm sure Steven Gerrard will look and think, job done.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier on, especially with the conditions and the way Hamilton played the previous week against Celtic, he would have known it was going to be a tough place to go. And listen, they've played better, there's no doubt about that, but they've scored 4 goals and surely he'll be hoping that will breed a bit of confidence, and they're into the quarter-finals, that's the main thing. Yeah, and Alfredo Morelos back among the goals, and Steven Gerrard is hoping that's going to be a regular occurrence.
I think all forwards, especially number 9s, they thrive on goals and they get confidence and belief from goals. He had a wonderful chance for us against Aberdeen that he normally takes, which cost us a bit. And today, first half again, it was a similar chance where he's in on goal and you'd expect the net to go, but hopefully that header will spring him into more goals, but he's definitely getting in the right places.
I'll tell you one thing, Roughie, if you're Steven Gerrard, you would have loved to have scored the goal that Scott Arfield hit for Rangers. It was an absolute screamer.
Yeah, it certainly was, and obviously the confidence for the penalty, and then, it was a fantastic strike. I can't remember whether he had the wind behind him or not, but even if he didn't, he just clipped it really good. No chance for the goalkeeper, and it just in the second half was a good afternoon for Rangers.
Yeah, Hamilton made 6 changes, Hugh. I got the feeling that Guillaume Bouzelan, with Brian Rice, the two of them probably sat in the manager's room, and Brian Rice said, Tuesday against Aberdeen is far more important.
Well, it is. It's as simple as that. Hamilton's not going to win the Scottish Cup, that's for sure. If anybody doubts that, have a look at what the odds were before they kicked off against Rangers at the weekend. Everything's now down to them staying in the division. I think they'll even be looking at 11th place as a result. I really do. And it's still all up for grabs down at the bottom of the division. So yeah, they'd be looking at Tuesday and going forward.
Yeah, it might have been a defeat, but Boozeland was hoping that the team learned from their mistakes.
Our game plan was to be nice and compact, to line a 4 plus 2 striker who work very hard up front as well. Obviously, they leave space on the side, and Rangers capitalised that by 2 crosses, and we couldn't deal with that. So the effort was there, but we need to learn from our mistake. Yeah, and we need to deal with the crosses better than that.
Yeah, Hamilton against Aberdeen tomorrow takes on greater significance for the Ackies. Elsewhere, well, BSC gave a good account of themselves, Roughie. In the end, it was McNulty, Mark McNulty, just popping up there with a hat-trick. And, you know, forgive me for this, unless Florian Camberry hits 20 goals between now and the end of the season, I think Hibs have got the better deal here.
Yeah, it's a good signing as well. I think the boy showed the last time he was there he could score goals. And I think in a Scotland squad for 2 or 3 games. I think he scored in one of them. So yeah, I think he'll be a good signing for them if he can get somebody up front with him. And 2-1. Everybody was looking for, oh, maybe there could be a shock here, but I think Hibs got the third goal at the right time, and then they sort of used the substitutions later on in the game, gave a couple of young boys a run out, and eventually won the game quite comfortably.
It was hard to watch you. I must admit, I hate the wind in a game of football. It's hard to watch. I think the fans are being shortchanged.
I think they are too. I mean, it's just, it's poor, terrible weather conditions for trying to play football. I mean, it was like playing golf in a links course at times, and you could see some of the passes, certainly in the Celtic game, where guys were actually trying to accommodate the wind, hitting the ball hard because they knew it'd be caught in the wind, etc., etc. I think as well, when it's allied with AstroTurf pitches as well, it's made all the more difficult because the ball's just flashing off them as well. So, the conditions are awful. As I say, Hibs, Celtic and Rangers, I'm just delighted to have consigned that to the weekend and moved on.
Yeah, and Hearts and Kilmarnock need a replay like a hole in the head. And I'm looking and I'm saying to myself, Aberdeen against Kilmarnock, I beg your pardon, 0-0. Don still haven't got a goal, which is an absolute nightmare for them. And Derek's starting to feel the pressure. Yeah,
what he's done up there in the last 6 years, I've got to be honest, has for me been exceptional. He's had a great time. He's been successful in terms of where they're finished in the league. He's won a cup. So there's always going to be demands on Derek. He's a victim of his own success because he's done that well. But the worrying thing for him is, when Cosgrove doesn't score, there's nobody else in that Aberdeen team that can come up with a goal. It's all down to him, and when he goes off the boil a bit, they tend to struggle. So, Derek will know he'll be under pressure, he'll be feeling it, but he's a fighter. I know Derek pretty well, obviously, with playing him at Rangers. I know what type of character he is, and he'll take this challenge head on. Yeah,
you can tell when he's in the press conference, he's primed and he knows that the wagons are circling around him, but he's defiant.
I feel under pressure to win a game, but I feel under pressure as a manager since I took over as player manager at St Johnstone, 12, 13 years ago. It's difficult to defend when you don't score again. I get that. So we've set a standard here. I still think we'll finish third in the league, and I still believe we can have a cup run.
You just wonder if he maybe did chap the door of Dave Cormack and say, look, any chance of getting me a couple of strikers in? Because you know what it's like. I mean, goals win you games. Just give Cosgrove a bit of backup there, because James Wilson he never cut the grass.
No. I mean, I think you're probably right. Of course he did. I mean, Derek will know far better than any of us what the problem was, and it's like a sort of goal scoring up front. And I bet he has went to Cormac, but it's the problem, isn't it? Trying to prize more money out of clubs, particularly in the January window. And the relationship with the new chairman won't be as strong as the relationship we had with Stuart Milne as well. So it is difficult times for him. You wouldn't be looking, in a rational world, you're not going to be looking to get rid of Derek McManus, I wouldn't have thought. But football's a crazy business, and there's crazy dynamics that go on between, you know, managers and chairmen, and managers, fans and chairmen, and crazy things can happen.
Yeah, well, I wonder in the replay if Cooley think that it's advantage to them at Rugby Park for that replay. As far as their form under Alec Dyer, he doesn't believe that they've turned that corner just yet.
No, to turn the corner you have to, you know, reach targets that you set yourselves. You know, our target, especially when I first got the job, was to try and get us back in the top 6, and that's what we want to do. So we're not patting each other on the back yet. It's only 3 games that we're unbeaten. We went 8 or 9 unbeaten, so you know it can change quickly.
Yeah, so listening to Alec Dyer, we move on to the next one, which is a Falkirk 0, Hearts 1. No problems there for the Jam Tarts. They are into the next round.
Yeah, but I don't know if you watched any of the game. The first, I mean, that was real. It was like water polo at times. But Falkirk must be. I mean, they've rattled the post 3 times, Peter. I mean, even from the rebounds they were making, were missing chances. Falkirk were desperately unlucky not to go back at least to Tynecastle. But again, it's that one where Stendhal was saying another victory, clean sheet, move on, and they've got the great bonus. And the club's got the great bonus. They know they're going to have a quarter final on the telly, can't get a ticket against a team with their fans to their chances, because the last twice at Tynecastle, Rangers have encountered problems. Yep,
it is certainly the tie of the round. Here indeed are the quarter-final placings and how it all came out. As far as the draw is concerned, it's Hearts against Rangers, Hibs against Inverness. Robbo, as I predicted, Roughie would see off Livingston, St Johnstone Celtic, and then Motherwell St Mirren against Aberdeen or Kilmarnock. Barrier. Tie of the round, Tynecastle will be bouncing, and this is a game, it's one of those games you'd have been licking your lips at.
Yeah, it's always one of my favourite places to go and play in my playing days. Look, Rangers would rather have a home tie against Hearts, but if you want to try and win trophies, Peter, you've got to go sometimes to difficult places and get results, and Rangers are wanting to do that. A couple of weeks back, Hearts thoroughly deserved their win against Rangers. So I'm sure the managers will be aware of what performance they put in, and it will need to be a better one if they want to get into the semi-finals.
Yeah, and as far as Celtic are concerned, they'll be looking at that and thinking to themselves, well, they've scored, 30 goals without reply against St Johnstone?
Yeah, and again, but the only thing you're wondering about Celtic is with Elyounoussi back, who I really rate, where does Lenny go with that? Does he change his formation? That 2 up front, 5 midfield, 3-5-2. I don't really think you can play that way with Elyounoussi in the team. Maybe you can, but
I don't think he's too. I think he's more keen to go 3-5-2. The 4-4-2 from the weekend is. I don't think he's going to persevere with that too much.
But I'm just wondering how he gets Elyounoussi into a 3-5-2 with 2 up front, because you wouldn't say he was a wing back, But anyway,
it's a nice problem.
I think he's got the squad's strong at the moment, and it's getting stronger. We know Beaton's coming back. We know El Hamid's coming back as well. Frimpong apparently is not too far away, so they are getting stronger.
Roughie, I did mention one of my only highlights from the predictions. I thought Robbo and Inverness would be able to see off Livingston. They managed it, and they're into the quarterfinals, which is absolutely fantastic for Inverness, considering they're in the championship. But you had a fantastic weekend for predictions, Roughie. I mean, you were just on blistering form. You're suddenly now back neck and neck with me.
Well, I was a wee bit disappointed in the Celtic third goal, because I had 2-0 at Clyde. But you just take it. But I've not been in this position, so I need to hold my nerve now. Hugh, it's at that stage now when you're up there, you're challenging.
It's these moments
I haven't been there before.
It's these moments in life that put 3 World Cups into the shade.
Well,
you've just got to come up with
and it's great to know.
Intestinal fortitude.
It's wonderful not to be in a sort of a relegation battle with somebody,
Yeah,
I don't think it's a battle.
You can tell.
I think it's just a relegation situation. I think
you can tell when Roughie is gloating. Have a look at the scores now in the head-to-head. It's just Oh, look at that, Roughie. I mean, you are on my tail, but Barry is just well, it's unbelievable.
I've picked
Barry.
a restaurant already just in case.
Yeah, absolutely. Roughie and I are going through the really good ones here because we know he's a connoisseur of all that stuff. Listen, there's football on midweek, and of course it goes back to the excitement. This is what I love about this league at the moment, the excitement of each game. Hearts have got to go through and play Celtic at Celtic Park, Barry.
Yeah, and if I'm being honest, I can't see anything apart from a Celtic win. Since I've come back for the winter shutdown, I've got to be honest, they've been exceptional. They're just getting better week on week. And again, you can play 2 or 3 different formations. So when they're coming up against teams, they're not sure what way they're going to go. So that's a good thing that a manager's got a plan B and C. But I think Celtic will be too strong for Hearts.
Yeah, if Barry's saying that at this moment, and we're all trying to call. You look at games, you don't let your eyes deceive you. You don't become involved in what I call, some people who just flag wave without looking at the overall picture on this one. You wonder what's going through the mind of Steven Gerrard, because it's Rangers going down to Kilmarnock, and suddenly you're trying to gear your boys up to get the spark that he's talking about, while wondering what's going to happen elsewhere now, because they are in the box seat. There was a moment, I think, we all come out of January thinking Rangers have got the chance here to go a point clear at the top, and suddenly, you're heading to mid-February and it's all changed to you.
Yeah, but I think that the problem is understandable, that players do have wee dips in form through the season, and sometimes you don't notice the dips in forms because managers will rest them or they'll sub them and bring them on and nurture them to. The Rangers, as we've said before, Rangers have got about 11, 12, 13 players, maybe 14 players that can compete at the very top level. It's when that falls off. It's when you're Steve Davis, suddenly becomes, maybe hampered a bit with injury. When Morelos is getting caught up with a lot of stuff outside football. When Ryan Jack is injured, I think it's very understandable that they go. But, where Celtic's got the advantage is, is if, for example, if Rogic isn't in form, well, you play Christie at 10, or we could play Elianusi at 10. If Forrest isn't doing well at right back, at one time you could have put Mickey Johnson in, or you could change. There's more room to manoeuvre for Neil than there is for Stephen.
And I think Scott Arfield sums it up, Barry, and you'll know better than anybody as a midfielder. You can't keep looking at Alfredo Morelos and maybe a Defoe or a Greg Stewart. When one picks up an injury, suddenly you're starting to get it thin on the ground. Arfield said it's time for midfielders to step up there.
I read that interview, and it's nice to hear that he's willing to take the responsibility, and obviously he got his 2 goals at the weekend, one fantastic strike, then one for the penalty spot. But you can't just rely on one guy. You need even defenders for set pieces. Need to come up with 3 or 4 goals per season. But for me, the mindset of the Rangers players just now is they've got to expect Celtic to beat Hearts, so they've got to go out and make sure they get the 3 points. No matter how they get it, Peter, again, you're going down to an artificial surface, which is not ideal. You just need to make sure you come off at the end of that game with 3 points.
Yep. Listen, just before we go, obviously over the next couple of days it'll gather pace with the revelations from Craig White. Who'd have thought we would have got a book from Craig White? And it goes back over the old ground of all those years ago, heading to 8 years for the misery of Rangers. And it's opened up a lot of old wounds, Hugh, along the way.
Absolutely. I mean, I think the press don't come out. My trade doesn't come out of it well. He's made a lot of claims in there about getting stories vetted, pulling stories, which doesn't make pleasant reading for me as a journalist. Strangely for the guy, I should say to the viewers that I've read a pre-publication copy of the book. Won't be too shocked with most of the revelations, but it kind of stands up everything we feared that was happening at Rangers at the time. Talking about administration almost the day after he secured the club, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of Rangers fans will still be angry, and there'll be a lot of them looking at it and thinking, there's no way you can rewrite history here. It's there for all to see. The pain will be there for them all, Barry.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. What's that? It's 8 years since it all happened. It's actually flew in. I mean, I was shocked to hear it was 8 years. But he's going to come back and go over old ground again, and obviously some people will not be too happy with it.
Yeah.
See, an interesting thing is to finish with it. I didn't realise, see when he took over the club, Rangers went on to win the league that season. I've forgotten all about that.
Yeah.
You know, he'd actually taken over a Rangers team that was going to go on to win the league.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think anyone will be looking at the book and changing their mind on it, but it's certainly going to be well worth a read. Not too sure, Roughie, you and I will be buying a copy. We're hoping that Hugh will give us his free copy, just because we are cheapskates when it comes to
going to give
like
Roughie cranes as well, so he can colour it in at the end of it.
It's a harsh environment we live in here. Anyway, apart from anything else, thank you very much to every one of you for sharing all your thoughts across our social media, Twitter, Facebook Live. More and more people joining us to put your point to our panellists on a daily basis, Monday to Friday, and of course YouTube. Lots of subscribers now just tuning in Monday to Friday for the football show. And of course, thank you very much for everyone tuning in and putting us into the top 10 in the podcast charts, because this week's podcast with Andy Ritchie has gone down a storm, because it's funny, it's sad, it's heartbreaking. It's just a great listen, and if you want to watch it as well, you can do on our YouTube channel. Just hit the podcast video and you can see Andy as he is now, and you can see Roughie squirming as Andy reflects on that beautiful free kick, wearing Adidas Sambas on a park that wouldn't survive in today's conditions, certainly not with a modern day footballer, but he was an absolute genius, and it's well worth a listen. So from Roughie, and of course from Hugh McDonald and Barry Ferguson, and from myself, Peter Martin, thank you very much for watching.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.